In this slide, we are going to talk about various skills that SPSS help us to enhance. As we know, SPSS is a powerful tool for data analysis and statistical modeling. So when we talk especially about a statistical analysis, we see there are many kind of a key skills that SPSS help us to improve. The first is the data management. It helps us to know that how to import, clean, organize data in a SPSS. As we know, this is the most important and the primary step in a data analysis. If we don't know that how to clean data or how to organize data, it will not help us to go at the further step. So it helps us to include handling missing data, creating new variables, and as well as recording variables which are required in a data set. Another thing under statistical analysis that SPSS help us to master ourselves in calculating basic descriptive statistics such as a mean, median, mode. Now these are the descriptive statistics which almost in every thesis like researcher are using. The moment, even though they are going for inferential statistics or some advanced statistics, but they prefer to use mean, median, mode. So if we know that how to use it, how to calculate it, then only a researcher or a person will be able to do. Inferential statistics, the person will be able to know that how to use t-test, ANOVA, chi-square, correlation analysis, and regression analysis. Another technique that under statistical analysis we will get to know that SPSS help us to get familiarized with the advanced analysis technique like factor analysis, cluster analysis, logistic regression. Syntax programming is another thing that we get to know through the SPSS. It helps us to gain proficiency in writing syntax commands in a SPSS for automating repetitive tasks and performing complex analysis. It also helps us to know that how to interpret the result of statistical analysis in SPSS and effectively communicating your finding while writing your conclusions and as well as a finding and the last part of your research thesis, or you can say research paper. The second skill that we talk about, that it is a data management. So under data management, we see SPSS help us to import data. We can feed our data in a CSV file, in an Excel file, and further SPSS help us to know that how we can import those files from a Excel to the SPSS in itself. Cleaning data, that is another thing. I think we have already talked about that. That is another thing that where SPSS help us. It helps us in a variable transformation by recoding variables and the other thing. Data restructuring is another data management skill that we get to know by using SPSS, where we can restructure our data by using SPSS, such as reshaping it from a wide to long format or from long format to wide format. By using a data menu and by selecting a restructure, which are the options which are given in a SPSS, we can perform these operation. Merging data under data management, that we can do easily when we do have a multiple files, we can quickly merge those files and further we can withdraw our analysis. Data aggregation, under which it helps us to create summary of statistics such as calculating means or sum of different groups. Data filtering is another option where SPSS allow us to filter data to focus on specific cases or variables. We in the end we can save our data. That again SPSS help us to save our data. Once you have cleaned and organized your data, you can save it in a SPSS format. Many times researchers do mistake that they do all the work on a SPSS file. Like it take a lot of time. It like not a minutes but the hours to prepare a sheet on a SPSS, and in the end they don't know how to save that file. So again they have to start from a zero and they have to go through all the process. So again saving data, it is a one technique that or skill we can say that SPSS help us to know. The third thing is a data visualization. Under data visualization, SPSS help us to understand that how we can understand our data in a better way and how we can communicate those results and findings in a effectively way in our thesis, in a research article, and as well as in a report. Now there are multiple ways through which data is shown in a SPSS. We will discuss that one by one. The first is a histogram. Histograms are used to visualize the distribution of a single variable. So it very clearly it gives us a beautiful like a histogram where we can quickly see the distribution of all the variables in a better way. The second is a bar chart under which are used to compare the frequency or a proportion of a different category. The third is a pie charts, which are used to show the proportion of a different categories in a data set. So for example, we have collected a data from some community and then we want to see that what is the educational criteria of those people. So we'll get to know how many people were under 10th, how many people were have done till +2 qualification, how many were undergraduate, how many were graduate or a postgraduate or above graduate. So pie chart actually give us that different categories of data set that is in a visual form. Scatter plots are the another thing that we can see in data visualization in a SPSS. This is used to visualize the relationship between two continuous variables. Line charts are used to show trends or patterns in data over time. So if we want to see for some company that over the period of a time how much they have taken growth in the market, so line chart can help us to know like in which year how much they have grown and in which year they have a less sales. So it gives us a very beautiful representation of a data over there. Box plots are the another visual representation which are used to visualize the distribution of a continuous variable, and it also help us to identify the outliers over there. Customizing graph, SPSS allows us to customize our graph by changing color, font and style, and further we can also add labels, titles and legends to make our graph in a more informative way. Exporting graph, once we have created a graph in SPSS, we can quickly export to various format such as a image file or PDF or for use in a report or a presentation. The next skill that SPSS enhance in us is efficiency. Now, when we talk about efficiency, it can be improved by following best practices in a data management analysis and reporting. Few of the things that we see, especially when we are using SPSS, that keyboard shortcuts, which plays a very integral part in a while using the SPSS. So it helps us to learn and use keyboard shortcuts to navigate SPSS quickly. Of course, it speed up your workflow, especially for tasks like opening file, running analysis and formatting output. The second is using templates. So SPSS also help us to create template for commonly used analysis or reports. It save a lot of time, and as well as we can reuse predefined setting and formats in further data set. Automation of data, like if we do have a repetitive task, so automation will be there. It can be particularly useful for data cleaning, variable transformation and complex analysis. Data reduction is another skill that we can learn in under SPSS. If your data is too large and you want to reduce its size by selecting a subset of cases or variables for analysis, so SPSS actually help you to reduce that data. It will help you to compare the it will help you to reduce that data without compromising with the result. So even if you are reducing some respondents like responses, like your result will not be compromised over there. So this is another skills that we can learn through SPSS. Optimizing setting, it also helps us to adjust SPSS setting to optimize performance. For example, you can increase the memory allocation for SPSS, or even we can adjust the default output options to reduce the amount of output generated. It also helps us to learn the advanced technique, advanced features such as programming in a Python or a R within a SPSS, and as well as to leverage additional functionality and improve efficiency. The fifth part is a versatility. Under versatility, we see that as we know, SPSS is a versatile tool and it offers a wide range of functions for data analysis, statistical modeling. Under statistical analysis, as we have already discussed, it includes descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, factor analysis, cluster analysis, and many other mixed model even, or we talk about a correlation or regression. It helps us to analyze all of those kind of a data set. With that, we see it helps us to go for the programming capabilities, under which it helps us to write and execute syntax script which can automate repetitive tasks and customize analysis. We can also integrate Python and R script within a SPSS for advanced programming and analysis. Now it depends on our data, like we want to use only SPSS or we want to integrate Python or a R script with the SPSS. So it totally depends on our data, what kind of analysis we want. Another thing is our reporting. SPSS also enable user to generate a detailed report with the tables, charts, and statistical summary. Reports can be customized to meet specific formatting requirement and can be exported to various formats for sharing or publication. In the one go itself, it provide a multiple pie charts and as well as a summary of your whole data set. So it is very easy to quickly get your findings from that on a one page itself. SPSS can also help us to know that how to integrate with other software tools and dataset, and further how to extract a result from those analysis. In the end, we'll say like it, despite its advanced capability, even SPSS is designed in this way which is very user friendly. So when even like even if a person is at a beginner level, like if he'll practice for some days or some weeks, hands-on practice he'll do on some data set, so he'll quickly able to learn that how to use SPSS. Further in integration, we see SPSS can connect to various database system. Under integration, we see it helps us to connect with the various database system, just like SQL Server, Oracle, or MySQL, which allows user to import data directly from a databases for analysis. And this integration streamline the data import process and also eliminate the need for a manual data entry. File format compatibility, that is another thing in the integration we see. It actually save a lot of time, and again it is very useful for the users. Syntax and scripting, that is another thing that SPSS allows users to write syntax script to automate repetitive tasks and customize analysis. Additionally, user can also integrate advanced technique like advanced programming, as I discussed earlier, like a Python and R script even with this syntaxing and scripting. Output and output export, SPSS allows users to export analysis result and reports to various format. It can be in an Excel form, PDF form, HTML. So it depends on a researcher which format is more easy for him to adopt, and accordingly he can export his data and further he can use it. So these features enable user to share their finding with others and as well as integrate them into the presentation and a document, or might be reports or a thesis, anywhere wherever it is required. SPSS extensions under the integration we see which provide additional functionality and integration capabilities, because when we know like we are using 2-3 techniques and further again with the Python or a R or a SPSS in a one go, so it helps us to use and integrate those technique in a better way, and as well as its capability for data manipulation and analysis, we can use it in a better way. SPSS also offer integration with the web-based data collection tools such as Qualtrics and a SurveyMonkey, which allows user to import survey data directly into SPSS for analysis. Another thing in our SPSS, that compatibility with the statistical libraries, which integrate with external statistical libraries such as R libraries, which actually help us to access additional statistical procedure and analysis techniques. The next is a decision making. Under decision making, we see SPSS involve using the result of data analysis to make informed decision, like data exploration. So the moment we have to explore like what kind of a analysis technique we want to use. So here SPSS allow us to explore data visually and statistically and help us to understand the pattern and the relationship within the variables and within the data. This exploration can inform your decision about which analysis to conduct, how to interpret the result. So the whole understanding about the data, that which technique to be apply and everything, we can get to know through it. Through predictive modeling, SPSS include tools for building predictive model based on your data set. These model can help you to forecast future trend, identify potential risk, make decision based on likely outcome. Majorly, it is used in a market research when you collect data from your respondent, your some like market, and on the basis of that data you will get to know what is the response of the consumer, and further you apply it for your future implications. SPSS also enable us to generate a report that summarize the result of our analysis. Report can be used to inform stakeholders, support decision making, and guide future action. Because if we know that how to use SPSS, but in case like we are working in some company and we have to submit a report, for that it is very important that whatever the data we have analyzed, we have to further write it in a descriptive manner, in a theoretical manner, and then other person will be able to understand that. But in some cases, if other person is quite expert in SPSS, so if we want to share these files directly with them, so obviously we can share it with them and they will be able to understand about the analysis. Further, we talk about the career opportunities. So there are a lot of career opportunities that we see once a person is skilled in a SPSS. So these are data analyst, statistical analyst, researcher, business intelligence analyst, data scientist, market analyst. So these are the few things that we see like are the career opportunity, but we'll talk about these career opportunity in the next slide in a more detailed manner.